What's up guys, it's Rowan here from AOSTV. And one of the things that I find is that often when a student goes through the HSC, their entire family goes on that journey with them. It can be incredibly stressful for everyone in the family. And in fact, from speaking with thousands of parents over the last 10 years, I often find that parents are actually more stressed than their teenagers about the whole HSC journey. So in this video, this is a shout out to parents out there that are doing incredible work supporting their teenagers. I'm going to be sharing with you 3 practical tips that you can use to more effectively support your teenager through the HSC. Let's jump in and find out what they are. So the first way as a parent you can better support your teenager through the HSC is to help them set goals. You know, one of the things I find from having lots of conversations with students is that going into Year 12, they really have very few goals about what they want Year 12 to look like. And I'm not just talking about the academic goals, although of course that's a great place to start. You know, so what are they hoping to do for university? Or gap year or TAFE or alternate forms of study. But to have a conversation with them about what that is going to look like for them, what courses they could be doing, what universities, and then what ATAR cutoffs or academic requirements are needed. So to have a conversation and then encourage them to set a goal around that. But that's only really the first part of goal setting. You know, Year 12 and life is so much more than that. And so I'd also really encourage you to have a conversation with your teenager to help them set goals also around their health and well-being. You know, what are they going to continue to maintain throughout Year 12 to stay healthy? And additionally, what are they going to do from a social perspective? So family and friends, what are things they're going to maintain and what are goals they have for Year 12 for how they maintain their relationships with family and friends? So 3 broad categories, right? Academic, health and well-being, and friends and family. It's to help them have a conversation so they can have goals, write it down, stick it on a wall so they've got something to aspire for and work towards throughout Year 12 that's going to help them do better academically, but importantly while also staying healthier and maintaining and even developing their relationships with family and friends. So number 2, the second thing that you can do to help your teenager navigate the HSC is to actually get them to teach you. Now, teaching is one of the most effective ways that someone can build memory and understanding. But often we don't want to do it, it's uncomfortable, it feels weird. So a really powerful thing that you as a parent can do is you can get your teenager to teach you, or you can ask them questions about content they learnt during the day. So for example, if you're driving them somewhere, they're stuck in the car with you, you've got a captive audience. Ask them some questions, ask them, what did you learn today at school? What was the most difficult thing that you learned? And then dig into that and explore in more detail what that involves. Of course, every night at the dinner table, you'll be having dinner, your teenager will be there. Use it as well as an opportunity to ask them questions about what they learned, the most interesting things, the most difficult things, the things that they found the most challenging. Now, of course, you can then take it up an extra notch. You can also, if you have a proactive conversation with your teenager about how powerful teaching others are, you can also get them to give you their study notes, and then you can quiz them, using the syllabus dot points, quiz them on different ideas and what things are so that you can then check their understanding and provide them with a powerful feedback loop so they know as quickly as possible through teaching what they do know and what they don't know. So that's the second way that you can really practically support your teenager through the HSC. It's to get them to teach you every single day. Dinners, in the car, and through using their study notes as a quiz guide. So the third way that you can support your teen through the HSC is to always be encouraging. Now that might be really hard to do sometimes because you can see that your teenager isn't doing the work that you know that they really need to be doing. You can see they've been procrastinating, or you can see that they've got a result back on their test and they didn't do very well, and you also know why they didn't do very well because they did no study whatsoever. As hard as it might be, one of the things that we've found from interviewing thousands of students and parents is that students find encouragement to be such a powerful motivator for them and so incredibly supportive. So while it might be tough, wherever possible, have your default to be encouragement. So rather than saying, well, why didn't you do that work? You should have done that study. Instead to flip it and say, well, look, it's great that you're building momentum. It's great that you're starting to do more study, be encouraging, and then use that as a conversation about maybe what they could do differently in the next assessment or exam. So start from a position of encouragement and then use that as a conversation to ask your teenager what they could do differently. So that's the 3 suggestions for ways in which we've just seen and found from thousands of parents and students and families that you can better support your teenager through the HSC. If you've got any questions about how to support your teenager through the HSC, or just suggestions to help your teenager generally from senior years of school and making the transition into Year 12, leave a comment below. Leave a comment in the YouTube comments or on Facebook. We'd love to support and help you. And of course, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We're bringing videos every single week. I'll see you next week.